Good day, everyone. This is Imani's trading channel. I am EAA. For those that are just joining us for the first time, I do Forex videos just to inform us on how I take trade, just so you are interested. And I've been sharing part of my model, how I actually trade the market. Not so much anyway, but I feel that it might help someone who is looking for a way to trade profitably. So, and if you have been going through my content, you would have been seeing over and over again how that I've been making reference to old highs and old lows, and I talk about them as stop hunts. I usually look for those kind of setup. I want this to be in the center, so, and this one should be at the middle. So I usually refer to them as stop hunts, just as ICT would have mentioned. So at those levels, there are things I look for. There are things I hope for market to do. And this, my hope, has been fueled by what ICT teaches basically. And I've gone into the market to see for myself. And over again, I've seen these things happen. And these are the things I actively go to the chart to look for and to see. Once I see those things and they do exactly the way I'm envisioning it or the way I'm expecting it, those are things that give me confidence to either want to buy or either want to sell. So in today's video, this NZD, that's New Zealand dollar against the Japanese yen. So this is the 3 months time frame, and the area I've pointed here is my old low. This old low was in 2007. And we could in fact see the price retrace into it around last year, and then beginning of, let's say, last year. This was last year trading. So price retraced into it, and then we can in fact see that the resultant event was a rejection lower. So how can I trade this kind of opportunity? The first thing here is our trigger, which is the old high. Once I see old highs like this, I'm very alert, especially very long old high. I'm very alert as to what may accrue to me as an opportunity. I hope you understand that. So having seen the stop hunt, that's the first thing for me. So we'll go on to check 1 month time frame. Now, so the 1 month time frame here, we could see the old high and we can at least see the stop hunt. So this is the stop hunt, and next thing I'm trying to show us here, I want to draw attention is this fair value gap. This fair value gap, very important. You want to take notes of this fair value gap, and you can see that I actually mark out these old lows, Those are the places I would potentially want to take my profit. Yes, I'll take one because markets can reverse from those points. So you want to take a profit before they start to reverse. All right, that being said, so this fair value gap, we could of course saw that after this price reacted vigorously downward, there was a fair value gap form from this candle formed on the 3rd of June 2024, and this long bearish candle formed 1st of July 2024, and then this one that formed 1st of August 2024. So this is August trading, this is July trading, this is June's trading. So the fair value gap that forms between them, my eyes are on it. I want to see what price wants to do around there. So fair value gap. So from the first time it entered, the second time, and then the last time, you could see that inside this particular fair value gap, there was stop points before you begin to see another big movement down. So in my last video, I still mentioned something about inside a fair value gap seeing a stop point. Something like that. I usually want to see them. I usually want to see a stop point inside a fair value gap, especially on the higher time frame. It kind of give me confidence that okay, this market, after taking liquidity, it is going to seek, after taking buy side liquidity, is going to seek sell side liquidity. So what else can we see here? We can see that after this stop point, there was another fair value gap that formed. Price retraced into it. So the fair value gap. Let me widen this a little. So we can see that price retraced into this fair value gap, and then we can see obviously that it began to trade down. Now these are the things I really and I wish that everybody could begin to see and begin to want to take trade by them. Very interesting stuff here. So I'll now run down to weekly time frame to still see if there are things that could help me frame a setup, so to say, to frame a setup. So this was the stop point that was highlighting to us on the monthly time frame, and this was the fair value gap that I was talking about, the midpoint. So it's like a monthly fair value gap overlapping with a weekly fair value gap. So how do we trade this? Okay, I want to draw attention to the first time it entered the fair value gap. It entered the second time. It entered the third, the fourth, and then lastly, all of which there were stop points, except for this green candle that didn't take out this candle, but obviously this next one took out both this eye and this eye, and then lastly this particular one took out this eye and then enter into the monthly fair value gap. So this market was actually trying to target the monthly fair value gap. So we want to take note of that. As you are watching for fair value gaps, you want to be mindful of the fair value gap that forms on the monthly time frame. Price may want to go and react from there. So you don't want to just take note of the weekly fair value gap. You want to take note of the monthly fair value gap. Hope that helped actually. So price began to react from the monthly fair value gap. On the daily fair value gap, you might actually see that okay, this is another stop point that happened, and it is this stop point that I usually love to see actually. So once that stop point that happened, what are those things that would also help me to take trade around this kind of places? So let's go on to the daily time frame. Now this is the daily time frame. For all the times price was entering into this daily fair value gap, I really did not see fair value gap being formed. For all the times it entered reject lower, there wasn't fair value gap formed, there wasn't inversion fair value gap formed. But after this major stop point here that started from the monthly time frame, what can we see? The first thing that we could see on the daily time frame was the invalidation of a weak daily fair value gap. This fair value gap is like a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Now, this kind of fair value gap should cause price to continue going higher. But in the scenario where we saw a stop hunt and then this fair value gap invalidated, it is telling us that this price is willing to go lower. Now, with this knowledge that I've been saying on my channel over and over again for some time now, you want to take a very keen note of it and how to expect it, how to trade it. Very, very simple stuff. It is not hard. It is not. So we saw that price actually invalidated this fair value gap and it became an inversion fair value gap. That's it. So whenever I want to trade a fair value gap, maybe on the weekly time frame, I want to see a stop hunt. And then after then, is either a break of market structure or a fair value gap invalidated, making it an inversion fair value gap. Once that occurs, that's my trade. I usually sit still to look for those kind of opportunity in the marketplace. Do we understand? I usually sit still to look for those kind of opportunity in the marketplace. So market, in fact, from this stop hunt broke lower, invalidated this fair value gap, making it an inversion fair value gap. We can see that price actually retraced into the inversion. Can we see that? Into the inversion and then continue what? Lower. It continued what? Lower. So how would we have traded this? Now, before I go, I want to quickly draw our attention to this fair value gap, because this fair value gap also confused me a little. Fair value gap. This fair value gap here. Okay, I'll return. Now, this fair value gap before the actual inversion fair value gap, I was thinking during this week that price will begin to retrace from this fair value gap, begin to go lower from this, so that it may not necessarily have to go back into this inversion, but we can actually see that price invalidated the fair value gap, and then it was this inversion fair value gap it used. Now, price may at times just use this fair value gap and then continue lower, but in this case, it actually use this inversion fair value gap. So it happens in the market where you would expect that price will use a particular fair value gap, obviously seen, especially in the daily time frame, but it happens that way. So you should be able to minimize your loss in those aspects and then be very, very careful. Now, on the 4 hours time frame, what can we see on the 4 hours time frame that would have helped us? So now, this is price at the inversion fair value gap, this area here. This is price at the inversion fair value gap, this area. I want us to pay attention to this area. Now, what can we see that is very obvious? Price at the inversion fair value gap. Now, price entered it conveniently, keep giving some kind of choppy movement until bam, price did something very lovely here. That's what price did. We can see obviously that price broke market structure, and after that it now created a fair value gap. Broke market structure, created a fair value gap, price retreated into the fair value gap, and then what? Continue lower. So these are the things you want to see on lower time frame as you go on, that can give you confidence about the kind of trade you want to take. Can you see a BMS? Supposing it was other times, it might be an inversion fair value gap that is formed, but in this case it was an what will I call it now, a break of market structure signifying a change in delivery of price. Do we understand? Signifies a change in the delivery of, that's a BMS. Can we see that? That's a BMS. And then price then retraced into the fair value gap created. Look at the fair value gap created. So price retraced into it and then began to come down. So 1 hour time frame, how would we have traded this on a 1 hour time frame? So immediately as price began to, price entered into this fair value gap twice. This was Wednesday. This Wednesday, but this first time the price entered into this fair value gap was also Wednesday. So price actually entered, used this fair value gap twice. This was the daily, the 4 hour fair value gap. This is the 4 hour fair value gap. Let me change the color. This was the 4 hour fair value gap that price used. This one that I'm highlighting that is offing and on. So we can see that price entered into the 4 hour fair value gap, although there was an hourly fair value gap here. This one in purple. Can you see that? So price entered into it and then begin to drive lower. So I actually traded this today just to be able to show you that this concept is very real. It's not something that I don't know how to do, or just something I check. Maybe I actually waited for this. I actually saw it and I was able to enter into this trade. Can we see it? I was able to enter into the trade and I was able to make a whole lot of stuff in it. This is already $804 US dollars, and it's still running. It's almost on my target. But these are kind of long-term trade I like to hold for a long time, because this was trade for me at the origin. So I like to hold it for a kind of long time at least to have maximum profit and things like that. So you want to take note of all of these things, and these are ways by which I trade the Forex market. So it's very, very simple to use, and if you take note of it, if you can follow the market. Now this week I actually follow the market. I don't do this every week. There are times I know that market will not give me what I want, so I stay from the market. But I knew that this week market was going to produce something very, very, although this January, I don't really advise beginner traders to trade January, because the market is sometimes choppy. If you don't know what you're looking for, you might be stopped up. But this week I was able to, go into the market with all what I knew, and I was able to come this far in trading. So you can actually, go into the marketplace, look for these things that I just show you, and it's going to make a whole lot of sense. So I'm sure what I did here today is a whole lot of value. And you want to take note of it, and then it's a nice setup. Can't you see it? It's a nice setup, actually. It's a nice setup. It's a nice setup. If you can find this in a week, it's a whole lot of money. Imagine $768. Not a joke. So I hope you have found value in this, and hopefully. So till I come your way next time, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to share it, and subscribe to my channel for more. I'll be doing more of this as time goes on. Thank you very much. Bye for now. Just so you can see this setup at least for some time. It works perfectly well. Break of market structure, return to fair value gap, bam, we are good to go. There's nothing like it. I love it big time.